Hi, my name is Todd Ohlmeyer, and I'm with Recruiter Elite, and we have a partnership with the TJGT to help y'all with college recruiting. Travis had sent me some questions that he's been getting as of late, and I'm going to go through and answer a few of them here. So I hope this helps you as you're trying to figure out the world of college golf. I will be out at the TJ event this weekend at Lake Arlington, so if you're around, please seek me out on Sunday. I should have a tent set up by the 18th green or by scoring. So good luck if you're playing this weekend, and if not, please feel free to reach out if you've got some more questions. One of the first questions that Travis had sent is, when do D1 rosters start to fill up? And honestly, the answer is going to be a little similar in all these questions, as it does depend program to program. But coaches, they can start talking to players after their sophomore year and can be making offers as early as that summer and as late as into a senior year. Generally speaking, though, most rosters are filling up by the end of that summer or midsummer of between junior and senior year. Again, it is program dependent, and I feel like if you're playing really well and a coach feels like you can help them improve, they might not offer you something even later than that. So it really does depend on the program. The key is to go out there and find the best school that is a fit for you, whether that's Division I, Division II, or Division III. There's just a lot of good golf opportunities out there, and you really just need to be focused on finding what school and program makes the most sense to you, regardless of division. A 7th grader asks, should I participate in older age group to play up and play on longer courses, or stay in my own age group? And also, this is a little bit situational as well, depending on where the player is at physically. And with their golf game, obviously playing up can provide some benefits where you're competing against stronger players and better players, and it's going to help your strength of schedule and help you move and climb up in the ranking world. But it also is dependent on really where the player is with their golf game. Are they going to be posting some scores that are competing, or are they going to be finishing last? And so from that standpoint, I think it's looking at that and making sure you're making a decision based on what is going to make the competition fun too. Like, are you going to enjoy competing at a higher level but not having some success? And regardless of whether you're competing in your age group or up an age group, a coach is going to be able to see what's happening and see how you're doing and competing. The biggest thing is, and I've said the word competing a number of times in this answer, is that a coach wants to see the player compete and play competition and go out there and get a sense that that's what they want to do, and that they enjoy being out there under the gun playing against whichever age group, but just that they really enjoy playing in tournaments. The next question is, do I need to be at a certain level before reaching out to coaches? And within reason, yes. I think you want to make sure you're posting scores and reaching out to coaches that would be looking at those types of scores based on your age. Obviously, when you're 7th, 8th, 9th grade, you're not going to be playing as well or as developed as maybe you are when you're older. But they have to look and figure out where were players at your age playing and shooting at that time versus when they graduated high school. So yes, I think there is a little bit to that, but I also think it's important to get out in front of coaches, and the earlier the better. The earlier you can be on their radar, the more beneficial it's going to be down the road. And that's why I suggest to families too to start with a pretty wide net when you're looking at schools, and then kind of whittle it down as you improve as a player and as you start hearing back from coaches. So I think it's great to get out there and get in front of coaches early and often. The next question, is COVID still affecting Division I scholarship / coaching decisions regarding players? And the answer is yes. Unfortunately, COVID is still with us in that regard. If you started high school in the fall of 20 or earlier, you are going to be feeling the effects of that. Coaches are allowed to, or all the players were granted an extra year of eligibility, so a coach can allow a player to stay another year. And so that means that these coaches have what's a known commodity in their player, or taking a chance on an incoming freshman. And so I think kind of knowing that's important, knowing that roster spots are a little more limited because of that as well. So the depth of talent that coaches are able to pull from is even greater because they're getting some players with college experience getting another year, which, then pulls in everything that's happening with the transfer portal as well. So I think it helps manage expectations, knowing that, hey, I might need to lower my expectations a little bit on the level of school because the coach has got a deeper pool of talent to pull from. So if you're in the 2025 class or later, you're clear from the extra COVID years, but otherwise you might still be dealing with it if you're a junior or a senior this year. All right, the next one is, once I get to high school and think I want to play college golf, what types of tournaments should I be playing in, or what do I need to look for in a tournament? Great question. And I think, as I kind of said earlier, the biggest thing is to compete, playing in multi-round events so coaches can see those results. The bigger the size of the field, the better from that standpoint, but obviously going in a stronger field also helps. So while playing in the TJ events are excellent competition, trying to qualify for some of the bigger events, whether it's the Junior PGA, the US Junior, the State Am, the State Junior, the TJ runs a qualifier for the Junior World as well. So I think really just trying to play as many events as you can that makes sense for your family's budget based on time and finances. I think I may have said that already as well, but I think just getting out there and playing is a big thing. And so that would be my strongest words of advice, is to just find events to play. One of the things that I like to recommend is to tell players to definitely try to play in the State Am. Whether it's the qualifier or you actually make it, you are going to be playing with some college players and possibly some college coaches. So it's a great way to get your name out there, through word of mouth, where a player might say, hey, coach, I just played a State Am qualifier or US Am qualifier with Joe Golfer, and he looks like he might be somebody to watch and someone that could be helpful to our team. So also, if you're posting really good scores, coaches are going to notice. And so just keep playing, keep competing. Coaches are awesome at their job when it comes to recruiting. They know about tours, they know about events, they know golf courses. So the more you play, the more you're giving them data to make a decision as to whether you're a good fit or not. So just keep playing, keep posting those scores, and the coaches will find you. You're going to have to maybe reach out to them first and let them know about you. They can't find everybody, but if you're posting good scores, they're going to get interested. All right, the next question I got was, is there any advice on how long to practice each day / week? And what general parts of the game should I focus on? Is it better to play or practice? A really good question. And honestly, the best thing you can do is make sure you're taking detailed stats, especially from your tournament rounds, and then analyzing those stats to figure out what you need to work on. There's so many great stat programs out there. My players work on and use Decade, builds practice plans based on what your stats say. So I can't say enough about Scott's program at Decade and how it is there to help you. Arcos is another really cool tool. I use both Arcos and Decade for my personal game. Arcos is some little sensors that go in the butt end of your club and can sync up to your watch or your phone, and really easily tracks what's going on and provides some excellent data. And it's from that data that you can figure out what you really need to work on. When it comes to college and practice and playing, they're going to want you figure out what you need to work on. And so if you can do that at an earlier age and getting to know how to do that, that's excellent. As far as, let me go back and review this question real quick again. This is what I was going to say. For how long to practice, it's going to depend on what you feel like you need. I do want you to realize when you get to college, a coach can keep you for up to 20 hours a week between practice, workouts, and competition. And so that's a lot of time. When you're in high school, the school day is a lot different than in college, and the way you can take classes at night possibly or online. So it's a little bit of comparing apples to oranges. But I think a really great tool to do is in the summer months, track how many hours you're practicing and playing. And so that means like actually practicing and playing. Don't include, if you're at the course from 8 to 8, but you sat by the pool for 3 hours, that's not a 12-hour practice day. Really focusing in on, all right, how many hours a week am I practicing now that I've got no other responsibilities? And then seeing what that is, and then thinking about, okay, if I go to college, I've got to do that many hours, 20 hours a week. And that's basically what I've been doing in the summer when I don't have anything else going on. So it's a huge time commitment playing college golf. And I think that's the one thing that people don't realize when they go off to college, whether it's playing golf or any other sport, is the time commitment that it is. And so I think really kind of having a good idea of how much time you are spending practicing and playing is important. And then I'd also add, depending on the program and where you're at and what the other players on your team are thinking of doing with life after college, a lot of the players that I coached at the D2 level and the D1 level are putting in, 10 plus hours on their own outside of the scheduled practice time. So it's a full-time job, whether you want to look at it that way or not. It's a lot to play college golf. And I only say this and reiterate this because I really want players to understand what they're getting into when they're going to try to play golf at the collegiate level. All right, for this last question, I was asked a few different things about resumes, so I'm going to kind of mesh them all together here. And besides scores, what else should go on the resume? I think anything that's going to highlight who you are as a student athlete is a bonus. So if you're doing extra curricular activities, if you're volunteering, list those. If you've received some awards or honors, whether it's from your city, county, district, state, whatever, put that information in there. The more that you have, it's just more for the coach to build up who you are. I think too, from a digital resume standpoint, including a swing video is a nice touch for a couple reasons. I know there's some coaches that don't look at swing videos, but at least if you're sending a swing video, the coach has an idea of who they're talking to or who they're getting information from. Should you put high school or one-day tournaments in there? If you've got a win or some low scores in some one-day events, absolutely include them. Just know, they're not going to carry a huge amount of weight with the coach, but it's nice. The coach would love to see that you're playing well. That's always a plus. And should you follow up sending a resume with a phone call? If you want to call a coach and you feel like you can, go for it. Anytime you have the opportunity to interact with a coach, whether it's through email, through text, on a phone, a Zoom, everything that you can do to connect with a coach is going to help you in the process. Going back to also with the resume, if you're looking at a school where academics is important, including your GPA and your test scores, you should include those no matter what, really. But, if you've got some academic awards or honors and you're looking at a strong academic school, include those. And honestly, with a school that's maybe not as strong academically, but you're very interested in, those awards and honors might lead to academic scholarships as well. So, I think anything that you can do to showcase yourself as a more qualified individual than somebody else. I think if you got two student athletes that have similar golf scores, but one's a 4.0 student and volunteers their time versus someone who's not, like that's going to be a little bit more appealing, that candidate that is doing more to better him or herself or him or his or her community. So, I think those would be great things to do, and keeping the coaches up to date fairly regularly. If you've got something really big to report or update them on, go ahead and send that off. So I think that kind of depends a little bit on your age, and some of this stuff you can find in the Recruiter Elite app. So go ahead and go in there, and there's some templates that you can look at. We don't have one for the resume, but send me an email and I'll be more than happy to send you a template for a resume. So thank you again for watching this video. I hope you found it informative and helpful, and will be able to use that information as you're going through this journey. As a part of the TJGT, you do get access to the Recruiter Elite app. It's a web-based app, and you should have received an email from me with login information or how to register. If you have had a account in the past, your account is still active. But feel free to shoot me an email if you've got any questions, or email Travis. Be more than happy to make sure you're all set with your Recruiter Elite app. There's about 100 video scripts and templates that can walk you through the entire recruiting process. There's also a search tool that gives you a little bit of inside look into what some of the colleges are looking for, as well as direct links to the team's website, the coach's email address, the school's website. So it's obviously a little biased. I think it's a pretty good tool. And then also be on the lookout for me. I'll be at the TJ event this weekend at Lake Arlington, and then I'll be at the boys event at the end of October. So thanks again for your time today, and please feel free to reach out if you've got any other questions. Thank you.